Old soul, young world.
But when it's of true positive nature and manifestation,
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between.
search deeper, dive deeper, and be like, yo, old soul,
Young world.
Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. Hey, guys, it is lit. We have a very exciting guest on the show this week. Someone I am so honored to introduce. I am so excited I can hardly contain it. We have a traveling musician, somebody who is an advocate for addiction recovery, and one of my personal childhood best friends.
Wow.
Welcome to the show, an athletic built man who is extremely tall, Justin Clancy! What's up?
Old soul, young world.
I like the tall.
You like the
part.
tall?
Yeah, the tall part's important.
That's
He didn't tell me to
fire.
say that. He
I
didn't
did
tell
not.
me to say the tall.
No, there's no tall prompt.
I chose that on
That
my
was
own.
just very organic.
Very organic.
Yeah,
No
for
manager
sure.
put that in the contract, you know? No.
No.
But for real, Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
This is a very long time coming.
Yeah.
This is like since we were childhood, long time coming.
Yes.
It's like what? Like 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like babies.
Yes. Now I'm in 8th grade.
Now we look like we're in 8th grade.
Yes.
But
Grown.
But for real, I've known you for like over 15 years.
Yep.
You have done so much. You are so accomplished in your craft and everything you've done. And there's a huge journey and story behind what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself to the audience, how you would, where you're from, and what you currently do.
Yeah. My name is Justin Clancy.
Hey.
I'm from Peabody, Mass. Originally.
Shout out Peabody.
Tanner. And I just sing my silly little songs all over the place whenever I can, however I can, to whomever I can,
Yes.
and tell my silly little stories.
You say silly little songs, but
Yeah.
for real, you've been touring state to state. This is like a legit thing for you.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I feel like I just remember so many times when we were growing up where before you were a rapper, before you were a musician and artist, like you were a poet.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I kind of want to jump the baseline before we get into you touring, going state to state, making songs with some big names. Like, who were you? Like, how did you even get into writing? How'd you get into music from a young age?
So the first time I wrote like a rap or a poem or anything like that, I think I was 8.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote it. I'll never forget. I wrote it in like a little like a Harry Potter journal. Like it was like a Hogwarts journal.
Oh, okay.
It was
You're
sick.
giving us your nerd game?
I still have it.
That's
to this
like
day.
vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I would date it and stuff. So I have
Okay.
stuff in there from like 2005 or 6.
Damn.
Like I've been writing forever. And ever.
That's fire.
Oh shit.
That is fire.
But like, yeah, man, it was just like one of those things. They say that like the journey chooses you, so I can't really pinpoint the thoughts, feelings, and emotions or what drove me to do it. I just kind of did it as if it was secondary already,
Yeah.
and I just never stopped since
Yeah.
then.
And like when we first started chilling, we were both poets, and I would be coming over. We would be having our sessions, writing. You'd
Yeah.
be showing me these things that you didn't show nobody else.
Yeah, you were the only person that read through all of my notes.
Y'all heard that?
Yes,
It was
swear on
very
everything.
special.
Just let me just clear the air on that. You read the cringiest shit ever.
But let me just
Ever.
say, it was actually amazing. And, I'll never forget that. Like, we were chilling at your house one day, and I remember you gave me this notebook, and you were like, yo, you can read everything in this notebook.
If
like,
you can read my writing.
If you can read the handwriting,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
And from there on, like, I feel like we were just artistic, like, co-pilots. Like, we would just work on stuff together.
For sure.
We would come up, all that. But from there was a transition into music.
Yep, and then you became my ghostwriter, and I never wrote my own song ever again. It was always you.
Hey, don't tell anybody that, all right? We got to keep that in the DL.
For sure.
Still the ghostwriter.
Yeah.
But, while we were childhood friends and you were coming up and all this stuff was going on, it's not like I feel like people see you now and they're like, wow, Justin Clancy's going state to state. He's touring with, we're going to talk about in a second, big name, Chris Webby, name drop. But before you were touring and all of that, like where were you actually performing? Were you like going out in Boston? Did you feel like there was a time where like you weren't getting shows like how you wanted, opposed to now and you're doing like shows all the time every night?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, the first show I ever did was at Kevin's Bar and Grill.
What?
In Lynn. And
if y'all know Lynn, Massachusetts, then
it's gone now, but I don't know if you remember it.
I do.
It got shot up like a week later and shut down forever. But I did, so my very first show was like that. And I was just trying to break through for so long. I remember playing All Asia.
All Asia. Where's that?
On Mass Ave in Cambridge.
Yes.
Also gone.
Yes.
Right? But like I remember.
No, Middle East? Is that still there?
Middle East is definitely still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they had shut down at one point.
No.
Because I remember you performing there back in the day, too.
Building up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so like All Asia and just like these little shows at like these dive bars and stuff like that, and just like performing for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Like,
yeah,
it's been like a building block, brick by brick process, you know.
Facts.
Over time.
Facts. And did you feel like, you know, for every musician, for every artist, like for myself, I talk about openly on the show going through anxiety, going through depression, and really having to overcome a lot of personal obstacles to get to where I'm at now, to be able to like speak about it, put it into art, have this show. At a young age, like, were you facing any struggles, judgment, personal things that you had to overcome to kind of get to the next level in your own self or your music, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Is this like you're rolling into me doing drugs?
I mean,
it's
like,
a perfect transition to it. So we'll do it. I was definitely doing drugs.
Because we weren't just writing poetry. I was also an emotional support for Justin as he was going through
drugs.
Yes. Yeah, man, the drugs.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, that was something that definitely like hindered me and like where I was at, and it stunted my growth for a while, you know, until I got sober. I remember there were times where, you know, I had a show and I was like 16, 17, and it was a matinee show, and I showed up like super hungover. I'd been throwing up all morning and there was just puke all over me, and like I still went and rocked the show. But then there were like other times where like people in the circuit like knew that I was strung out. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. All you had to do was look at me, right? And I'll never, ever, ever forget this one instance where I was supposed to do a show at the Middle East upstairs, and I was probably 17 or 18 years old, and I was so excited to do the show.
That's so young to be doing a show there, too, for people who don't know. Like, that's a big venue.
Well, it never fucking happened. Well, but I was so stoked to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was so stoked to do it. And the upstairs, like, you know, now it's like, you know, it's 150 cap. It's like a smaller, more intimate vibe, but like it was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, this kid that was headlining gave me a handful of like tickets to sell, like physical tickets. And, you know, I had like a month to sell them or something. And not only did I sell like none of them, I think I sold like one, and I like pocketed the money and stuff so I could get high. But like I remember exactly how it felt when he came and picked up the tickets. Yeah. You know, because he kicked me off the show. Because I was just so out there and so messed up. And like, I think I like went to like detox, or I got arrested or something. I was like MIA for like a week. You know what I mean? And then I came back and he was like, what's going on with the show? And I'm like, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. But he like came and drove, and like the disappointment in myself that I felt when I had to give the tickets back. Right. You know what I mean?
And knowing you kind of let yourself down and let them down in a way.
Yeah,
but more so your personal self, because it's like you had worked so hard for that opportunity. You had done so much building up throughout middle school, high school, etc., just to be performing.
Like man. And like just countless like blunders and L's, and like, you know, I had like a manager at the time, because I'm sure you remember, like, I put out that Slide music video and it went viral. Yeah, and it went viral. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, like, I'm dropping out of high school now. Right. To pursue this. Yeah. And I had a manager, and I was, like, plugged in, and I wound up burning my manager for, like, $200. And it was just, bad moves left and right as a direct result of like me being on drugs. You know what I mean? So things didn't really start flourishing for me until I got clean. You know, like a lot of artists, they correlate their creativity with substances.
Yeah.
And I never had that issue because the substances that we're doing was so fucking gnarly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like not like normal things to be doing in the studio.
Yeah.
You know?
And could you just give the audience an idea of like when it was that you kind of weren't clean to when it was that you actually got sober and stayed sober?
Yeah.
Because I know there was a lot of times of like in and outs trying, like obviously like any addiction, you know, it's an uphill battle. And you know, if you can't get it once, like you got to keep trying. And anybody listening in who struggles with addiction, who struggles with any type of personal battles, whether it be depression, anxiety, etc., like people like me and Justin are examples of like you can't fail once and then stop. You know what I mean? If you fail once and stop, like Justin wouldn't even be here today.
Nah.
Like he wouldn't have even toured with Chris Webby. He wouldn't do any of the things he's done. So within your own personal self, like where do you feel like that resilience came from for you to be able to get clean in the long run, and aside from you answering the when you got sober question?
Yeah, so like my official date is December 21st, 2013.
So you coming up on
10 years.
What?
Yeah, I'm aging myself.
That's fun.
I swear, I'm 23.
I am so proud of you.
I'm 23 again. I swear to God.
Literally look like a baby, so don't
I've
even
aged in
worry.
reverse.
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I've aged in reverse.
Welcome to the show.
The weight loss and stuff like that.
Benjamin
But no, yeah, and like, I didn't really have the resilience. It was something that like, you know, I kept trying for so long, and I didn't plan on staying clean. Let me get that straight. I had no fucking idea I was gonna get clean and stay clean.
Yeah.
I just needed a place to go for a little bit while I figured out a new hustle.
Yeah, exactly,
You know,
right.
like I had no idea that I was gonna be clean for this long. I had plans to go and get high once more, and you know, days turned to weeks, turned to months, turned to me not being so interested in trying it. But the thing that's kept me sane through the process, especially early on, because like now, like, you know, I don't see using or getting high or drunk as like an option. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not really something I...
Like it's not on your plan B
No.
list anymore?
Like, I don't even think about it. Like,
Wow.
I'm around it all the time on tour or just like in studios, whatever. I'm always around it,
Yeah.
you know? And it's not something that like looks good to me anymore.
So it's not a personal temptation, more so a reflection now.
Not even. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see it, like I see somebody smoking weed. You've smoked weed around me.
Yeah.
While I've been clean.
And
It doesn't make
that
you a
I've
bad person.
That I had regretted
No, but I
afterwards,
don't feel like it doesn't bother me because
Right, right.
it's like one of those things like, you know, I'm sure it's like how it is like if you saw me smoking a cigarette. It's like, okay, like he smokes cigarettes, I don't, whatever.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So like when I see somebody with a drink or smoking weed or whatever, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
they do that, I don't. That's literally it.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you know, backpedaling to like the resilience piece, it was just one of those things where like after a while, like I really wanted to put all my eggs in the music basket.
Yeah.
Cause, you know, once I got my feet back under me, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna see what I can do with this, because if I put even like an ounce of effort into the music, that same effort that I did into running around and like trying to get my fix every single day,
Yeah.
like I want to see what'll happen.
Wow.
You know?
So you transitioned your personal like
Obsession.
mindset, obsession
Yeah.
into motivation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I was like, man, all this junkie shit that I be doing is crazy. Like, let
Right.
me channel this crazy like tweaker energy into something new.
And for me, like I just want to say personally, it is so beautiful, like seeing where you're at now. And like, I have to give you your flowers. Like,
Thank you.
I am so privileged and honored to have been there the days that you were strung out. We were having conversations. I was naive. We were young.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know to like transition a few years in the future. You're getting sober. You're in and out of rehab. You're trying, and we're still keeping cool. And then, you know, we follow out a couple years later. You're performing shows. You're inviting me to your shows. You're dropping off tickets to my house. I'll never forget that day you came and dropped off those tickets to my house. And I just looked at you. I'm like, yo, I am so proud of you. Like, you really started to do all the things that when we were younger, we dreamed about, we talked about, and verbally manifested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It's been a wild ride.
It's different, like on the inside looking out, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How would you say? How so?
Well, so people say stuff like that to me, and it's like, in theory, it's like, it's crazy, but like I try not to think too much about it.
Yeah.
Because I'll cry or like freak out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I just kind of like keep it in the day, like, okay, I'm doing this thing, and then this thing turns into another thing, and then another thing. And
So do you feel like that kind of helps you, whether it be personal within music or getting like addiction recovery, but like short-term goals, like, all right, I'm focused on today. I'm not focused on where I'm going to get at the end of the year, where I'm going to get in 6 months, like kind of making short-term goals?
I mean, yes and no. It's like one of those things, like back to like the crazy addict brain.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be enough. It's not enough. I want more.
And will you say you're always a recovering addict?
For sure. Yeah, I'm always gonna be somebody in recovery. I'm not cured. You know, the drugs were just a symptom. You know what I mean? Like, I have all the isms. You know, there's way more than just like being somebody who uses drugs.
Correct.
That's not what makes me an addict. What makes me an addict is the chase.
Yes.
And the need for more.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and like that's something it's a double-edged sword, because
Right.
while it's great and it's fantastic and I'm using it to my advantage and doing all these amazing things with music, it's never going to be enough.
Right.
You
right.
know?
And I feel like people can take that in many different ways, whether you're addicted to working or you're like
I'm a workaholic.
Right, exactly.
sure.
So
Yeah.
it even translates into that, like when your mind's a certain way, when you have that chaotic, like you say, like a drug mind or an addict mind, you have to use that focus otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's where the motivation kind of stems
Right.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, speaking of like the past you've gone through, et cetera, you bring it up in a lot of your music. It's definitely a big theme in many of your songs and music videos, the struggle you've gone through. You're very like, I don't know, like very creative in a way that pushes the boundaries. Like in one of your music videos, you're hanging upside down in a church, like hanging.
I was just talking about that today. Yeah.
Can we get into that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Well, I have one specific I want to bring up, one music video, but how about you tell us about that? How were you literally hanging from a noose in a church? Like, did you get permission to do that? Like, there's so many questions I have about your music videos.
Will you be able to play clips in this?
We could probably throw a clip.
That's so sick. Okay, perfect. Because like without the reference clip, it's like
I know, it's like
what are you talking about? That was actually, we shot that video 3 separate times.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had to get hung up inside the same church on 3 separate occasions.
That's a little traumatizing.
First occasion, I was about 50 pounds heavier.
Right, yes, because
So-
you have fluctuated weight
Big time.
over the years. For
on
sure.
purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not the fat part. that was a big, that was a culmination of things, but not purposeful.
Yes.
But yeah, man, like basically we had to build an A-frame inside of the church, so we had pillars and then a big board on the top. And we had this guy come in who like specializes in what's it called?
Noose tying?
It's that
Question mark?
shibari.
What?
Shibari. It's like the kink.
Oh.
But there's like an art behind it. But like like how people like tie each other up
Yeah,
and stuff. It's like
yeah.
part of like the BDSM world.
Oh, okay. It's like a bondage thing.
Yeah, it's a bondage thing, exactly. But
so
there's
you had
like
a bondage master coming
Yes.
to hang you from a church is pretty much what you're
I
saying.
hear them freaking out in there.
Right? My team's like, what the hell are you talking about in there?
Well, who better to hang me? You know what I mean? How where else am I gonna find somebody that like specializes in tying up people?
Yeah.
You know
for
what I
real.
mean? name.
Right.
I just happened to know somebody
This is the BTS that people don't know about from the music video.
I just happen to know somebody whose boyfriend is very good at it.
Well then.
And he was extremely
Shout out to that couple.
And he was extremely professional.
Okay.
And he was very safe.
Was he soft? Was he gentle with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
good.
sure.
Good.
Yep. He was very gentle. He was a gentleman. For sure. It was great.
Lovely.
But the first time I did it, I didn't have Shabari guy. I have Fats.
Oh my god.
You know Fats, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I had Fats. And he was like, man, like I've never tied. He's like, I've tied up some girls before, but
Yeah.
like, that's pretty much the only experience I have. He was so the first time I did it, right?
Yeah.
So each time we did it out of the 3, it got a little more advanced and a little more. But the first time it was just kind of thrown together.
Like, let's see if this works.
So we built the A-frame, and it was super high the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to, in order to do it proper, like I had to get on top of like a high-ass ladder. And I was on the top rung of the ladder.
Wow.
Again, 50 pounds heavier, right? So my
Yeah.
fat ass is on like the top rung.
Yeah.
And like I am hurting. So the ropes were like all the way to here.
Oh my god.
And I had to stay like that for 2 hours.
Dude.
So every single take, I had to like, they had to pick me up off the top rung and kind of just let me go.
Oh
so I
my
swung for a second. There was no padding.
bungee
underneath.
jumping, but
yeah,
like-
there was no padding underneath it. It was wild.
Wow.
So, but the third time we finally got it, and it was a very similar thing, except it was a little safer. There was like padding underneath it and
Yeah.
stuff. Because the shot that I wanted was very specific, which was I wanted the camera to start on my face right side up and pull back slowly and spin and twist.
right.
To reveal that I'm being
Which is
hung
what you
upside down.
got.
Which is what I got, yeah, for
but
sure.
But after multiple takes.
But it took hours.
Yeah.
So I couldn't feel my right leg for like 3 months.
Dude, oh my god, I was gonna say that. I'm like, did you like have to amputate one of your legs?
No, I
Like-
damn near. I mean, I didn't
That's
really play the
wild.
tape through.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So on top of that, because like your videos are very conceptualized, like you are a conceptual artist, I would
Thank
say.
you.
And I know you produce them along with.
I have like multiple teams that I work with.
Okay.
So like sometimes I'll work with Tange, other times I'll work with like Alex Stinson
That's
and,
what I was thinking,
Connor.
Alex Stinson.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
in the past I've worked with like Ben Prue and stuff like that.
Cool.
But I always come to them with an idea.
Okay, so
I'll never
you
be
come
like-
with the visual like concept and then you create it together.
Yeah. So I'll always have a treatment.
All right, so you gotta tell me about your concept and how it worked when you were doing Run from the Devil in Peabody on a horse. Like,
Yeah.
how? Was that a real horse?
Yeah.
What was going on?
Yeah.
Did you get the street closed? So, like, we grow up in Peabody. Peabody's a small city. When I seen this video, I'm like, there's no way Justin is riding a black majestic horse down a side street by the courthouse,
Yep.
Which is a very busy street. So I'm like, he had to either have it shut down or there had to been something put in place.
I had to shut that shit down.
All right, let us know. How did that come about?
It was a fucking process.
Dude, I bet.
It was insane.
Like,
And the people there thought I was nuts.
Oh,
So
I can
originally,
imagine.
I wanted to shut down Main Street.
oh, yeah, right. Good
I was
luck.
close. I was seriously close.
Wow,
They told
like,
me
what strings did you pull?
just the closed mouths don't get fed. I just asked.
Whoa. Could you repeat that little gem right there?
Yeah, closed mouths don't get fed.
That's fire.
Big
That's
facts.
fire.
Remember
says
that.
the baby voice. Yeah, dude. I just had to ask. I figured out who to talk to. I had to start with like the police department.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I had to quite literally fund the police, which was not very punk rock of me.
Wow, so you had to pay them?
I had to pay, yeah. I paid their
gosh.
salary that day. Well, not their salary, but like their hourly rate or whatever.
Wow.
I had to pay them.
Wow.
So I had to pay for police detail because I can't shut down a street without police detail.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had to get the thumbs up from the mayor.
Oh my gosh, Ted Bencourt?
Yeah, yeah. He had to be like, okay, yes, you
surprised
can
he
ride a
approved
horse
it.
down the street.
Yeah.
Well, because they knew who I was.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, fine, go for it. Right? And man, I had no idea I could pull that off.
Wait, whose horse was it?
It was my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when those girls came out and they took the horse, that was legit?
That's a real horse.
That's a real horse.
That's a legitimate horse.
Just the fire is CGI.
The fire is CGI. Everything else is real.
Shit looks great.
Never rode a horse in my life.
You looked like you were so stable, like you had been riding horses since you were a baby.
No.
You were like
for a week.
A prince.
Not even. So me and Chip met each other. His name's Chip.
Is that the horse's name?
Yep.
Are you guys best friends now?
It's been a while.
Oh,
but
okay.
they said that I can ride Chip whenever, and like he was really cool. Very slow horse.
Okay.
Which was good.
Yeah.
I wanted a slow
Needed it
horse.
nice and slow.
I can break down the shot though.
Yeah, please
because
do.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
But like, so I met the horse. I had to make sure that I vibed with him because I talked to horse people. Pretty much, I got thrown into a horse person Facebook group.
Dude, because Justin's also an equestrian lover.
Yeah. Well, no, I used to be terrified of horses. Now I fucking love them.
Wow, look
love
at
horses,
you.
dude. They're sick. But like, yeah, whatever. So long story short, I met Chip. I had to make sure that we vibe because I guess horses are like very big energy animals. Yeah. And I had to make sure that we were cool and he understood what was going on and everything like that. And we established a friendship. And I rode him a couple times, whatever, tested him out. He actually came to my neighborhood.
Oh my
And I had to ride him around the neighborhood. It was probably like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. This is right before the shoot. So my neighbors were like, what? My next door neighbor probably thinks I'm a psychopath.
Oh, definitely.
Because he sees me like shooting all sorts of videos.
Has he been there your whole life? Is this like...
No, he's a newer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So he like sees me doing all sorts of crazy stuff because I've just used and abused my front yard, backyard, whatever, for
100%.
all sorts of videos and weird stuff and whatever. So
recreational use.
Yeah, exactly. So 6, 7 o'clock at night, I'm just riding this horse around my neighborhood because like A, like who's gonna tell me not to, and B, like is it illegal? I don't think so. Horses are horses, dude.
Exactly.
Whatever. So where was I? Oh yes, the shot itself. So we had to rent a truck, like a U-Haul truck.
Okay.
And we had to set up a big rig in the bed of the truck to hold and hoist up the camera, and it was like a crane.
What?
To get the shot. So we had to time it perfect so that the truck was driving while me and Chip were riding toward it.
I thought you were using a drone.
No.
Why didn't you guys use a drone? Somebody help this man.
I don't know, but it was like this.
So like when as Chip would be coming, the truck would be slowly backing up.
Yeah.
Wow.
While playback was going.
How many takes did you do?
Oh, too many.
Yeah.
So many.
I can imagine.
And there was this one part where like Chip just stopped and he pissed everywhere. And I don't know if you've ever seen a horse piss, but they go forever.
You're like,
and
dude, you're gonna get my shoes wet.
It was so cold out too. It was probably like 10 degrees outside.
Oh, you can't even tell by the video.
Can't tell. No, I was freezing.
So there's so much that I could get into with this, but like, would you say that you have a favorite music video that you've done so far? That you've done, and if so, why?
I have an affinity for all of them in their own ways, just because it's a moment of time for me. I make the videos more for myself than I make it for anybody else.
What do you mean by that?
If I wasn't a musician, I direct movies. You know what I mean? Like that would be my jam.
Yeah.
I love directing. That's like my favorite part about this whole thing. I feel like you have like
a Quentin Tarantino vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know, like esque, like in what you put out.
I mean, I definitely dig Quentin Tarantino. And like I really love like, I don't know, just something about having an idea and seeing it come to light, like something so tangible. Is my favorite thing.
It's so satisfying.
In the world. It's so satisfying.
Definitely.
But I think like my favorite videos would have to be Run from the Devil for sure. Wish You Well. Wish You Well was like whew.
Definitely. Wish You Well was like
that was at the Cabot.
Really?
Yeah, I shut down the Cabot for that.
Shit. This dude shut down so many venues for his music videos. If you guys haven't checked them out, make sure you go on YouTube, follow Justin Clancy, check out all of his videos. Like from, when did you start putting your first one out? 6, 7 years ago? Maybe on YouTube?
Slide.
Oh,
Over a
okay.
decade.
Dude, a decade.
Over a decade.
Holy crap, that's insane.
And I did the treatment for that one too.
yeah, you
dude.
def did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
crazy.
It's just like I feel like we're in a time capsule. Like I could literally, and it's funny because the listeners watching in, like, it's just so personal to me because I've
Right.
literally seen you take these steps.
Yeah.
But like, listening to you talk when we're talking about the concept of the videos, when you talk about like, I paid these cops off and we did all these takes and it took all these days and this and this and this, like, can you give us a little insight into like the investment that you make being a full-time musician, the investment that you make being, whether you're on a label or not on a label, as a musician, like how does that play into everything you've done so far?
I mean, it's a risk and reward. The risks are high, the rewards are sometimes high.
Big facts.
But that's just what it is. Like, listen, you gotta like the biggest part about being an artist is making sacrifices.
Ooh,
Now,
y'all
like,
heard that?
But like whatever that looks like, it may fluctuate depending on how serious you take your art.
Yes.
Some people, they might sacrifice a paycheck and they'll be like, wow, that was a lot. Some
Right.
people might sacrifice a night or
Right.
2 nights, or they won't get good sleep before they go to their 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's, you know, there's a spectrum to sacrifice. And the more you sacrifice, the more the universe is going to give back. It just all depends on what you put into it. So for me, I've sacrificed literally everything.
Yeah.
I've given everything.
You've sacrificed your life
My whole entire life.
to make your purpose.
My whole life.
Yeah.
And it's all a matter of impact. And like you got to shift your perspective too, because you know, so many people are like, well, are you doing this to get famous? Are you doing this to get rich? And it's just like, it's not even that. It's just like impact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doing
Like,
this
I'm
to
trying
make
to
a
live.
change.
Yeah, I want to live forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's only one way to do that.
Right.
So all that shit, money comes and goes, time comes and goes, really. But in the grand scheme of things, you're creating something that's going to live forever and far bypass your own life.
Right. 100%.
You know,
And like,
footprint.
I mean, on the concept of like old soul, young world, like you definitely have some type of a deep soul. I don't know if you would consider it old, if you would consider it young, but like
Weathered.
Weathered.
It's definitely been here a couple times.
Weathered soul.
This is not my first rodeo.
I'm just wondering, like, do you feel like the concept of like me even asking about like your soul purpose? Do you feel like your soul purpose is through music to make change? Like, are those incorporated into one? If somebody was to ask you, like, what is your soul's reason for being here?
Yeah.
And I guess that means, what's your reason for being here, but not your physical body? If I was to take Justin away, if I was to take away how you look, your tattoos, your eyes, your height, your et cetera,
Tall
what's
height.
inside?
Tall height.
If I would take his tall height away,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, let me parenthesize that.
6'2".
6'2"? 6'2"?
And a half.
Should we not stand up for promo shots after this? Because I think I got a
Stand
few
on the
inches
chair.
on you. But yeah, for real, do you feel like part of like when you were born in this lifetime, do you think that your soul had a purpose?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always been bigger than me.
Oof.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
This just happens to be the vehicle. I happen to be the vehicle. My music happens to be the vehicle. It's always been like, in the greater scheme of things, it's always been more about like others. I see myself as a martyr. You know what I mean?
Like,
and that's why I sacrifice so much, and that's why I die in every music video.
because you would give all of yourself to fulfill like helping others and passing this message on through your art to the point where like you would literally sacrifice your body, yourself, your whole person.
Yeah, well, and that's the one of my biggest themes. Like, if
It
you
is.
watch my music videos, you see that I die in some way, shape, or form at the end, and it's almost like from a masochistic, like standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I give like flesh and bone and limb for it in
Right.
real life. You know, and life imitates art, so I try and like make sure that crosses over.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's always bigger than me. At the end of the day, it's like a connect thing. Like, how can I make people feel like they're not alone, like how I felt when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my thing.
It just no, it's just 100%, and like that's exactly the reason why. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but like we're just very correlated, parallel souls. I feel like in a way, like the whole reason since you've known me, since you've met me, like Justin knew me when I did spoken word. Justin knew me when I was
sick.
Yeah,
like
I was
louder
a pretty
than a
good
bomb.
spoken word.
I saw you at
artist.
louder than a bomb.
Yeah, shout out louder than a
sick.
bomb. Thank you. But he's seen me through so many phases of myself where I've like, we could talk about it, but like my anxiety, my depression, my self-harm struggles, and so many things along the way where it's like, if I didn't keep believing in myself, if I didn't keep struggling and pushing through and feeling like, I said this to someone the other day, like my only purpose here on this physical plane is so that I can traject help to other people so they don't struggle how I struggled when I was young, because there was nobody there to talk to me. There was no one there to say, this is why you're feeling this way. You have a purpose. You have a difference in life. You're an artist. You're really talented. Like it was always something internally that I had to suffer and struggle through to then come on the other side and be like, I can use this for motivational. So like, I just want to say to anybody listening in, if you doubt yourself, if you question yourself, if you feel like you have a purpose here but you haven't found it yet, like I'm just going to let you know through both of our personal stories, you will get there one day and you will find it, but you cannot give up. And if I had given up, I wouldn't be here producing season 3 right now. Justin wouldn't be here on the show talking about everything he's gone through and all the amazing tributes and tribulations that we've overcome. And again, like, it's just something that soul-wise, human-wise, like, it's just very human. You know what I mean? But it's extended beyond lifetimes in a way. It's like, this was already written for us, but we had to be the one to pick the pen up and keep it going. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you don't pick the pen up, then the half-written book is just laying there and it will never be finished, and that masterpiece will never transcend generations.
100%.
And speaking of like transcending generations, like a huge thing that I've seen you go through, and also a personal and transition also through your music, I feel like was through tribulations in family and also having to break generational curses. How do you feel within everything you've done, like that you're breaking maybe a generational curse or creating a new path when there was only 2 options given to you, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still fatally flawed.
Ooh!
You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like...
Yo, the quotes this kid has! I'm sorry. So sorry.
Nah, you're good. No, I'm still, like, flawed so bad, you know what I mean? And, like, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can break the generational curse. But, like, you know, that's why I do things in order to make sure that, like, if and when I do have kids, they're raised differently than how I was, in a different
100%.
fashion.
Right.
But in order to do that, I start with myself. So, like, you know, I do like the 12-step fellowship of my choice. I go to therapy. I make sure that, like, I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the best way for it to transcend to the next.
Wow.
Is to kind of, like, build that foundation and arm yourself with the knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So,
yes, I
yeah.
do. It's the only way, and I feel like that's, like, I thank you for saying that. That's very beautiful. When you work on yourself and, like, thinking about when you're bringing kids into this world, or even just a huge fan base. You have a huge younger fan base than you. You know what I mean? Like, whether it be upholding an example of something or just giving those fans an outlet to be able to feel within themselves, it's okay to be me, it's okay to be different,
Right.
it's okay to be struggling,
Yeah.
and looking at you and being like, this dude's still going through it and he's still overcoming.
Yeah.
And I don't think when you're an artist and when you're somebody who's trying to break generational curses, I don't think it ever stops. You know what I mean? I don't think we could be 50 years old and I still think we'll be working towards personal goals and artistic goals.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to it, always wanting more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Always going to try and look for, like, that next.
Definitely. But aside from that, I said that we would hop onto this topic at one point. He's got some big names that he's been touring with recently. how did you get on the road with Chris Webby?
Chris
Webby.
Webber.
How did? No, stop! I can't with you. Don't. Not the baby voices. For real though, how'd you get on tour with Chris Webby? Where have you guys been? When did you get back? And like, what the hell is tour life compared to performance life? Because like going to a venue and performing and going home is very different than when you're on the road, living van life.
Yeah.
You know, whatever comes with that. I'm sure you went through some struggles on the way.
Yeah, man. It's a lot. The relationship that Chris and I have is like super organic. You know what I mean? Like we brush shoulders.
Type.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we brushed shoulders and we met probably in 2017.
Oh wow, long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a show it was me and Token invited him out and like we met in the green room and stuff. But we have the same producer and engineer, Knox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what happened was Knox sent me this record for somebody else. It was Henry AZ, right? And he was like, yo, cut a hook to this. Henry wants you to get on it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and at the time I was living in LA and I just recorded the hook like in my living room, whatever. Thinking nothing of it, really. Because, you know, so many people are like, oh, I would need a hook. And then I'll fucking send them a hook and then, like, they'll never fucking use it or whatever.
Right.
And lo and behold, he didn't wind up using it. But Webby heard the song, he heard the beat and he heard the hook and he was like, oh, I want that. That's how he talks.
Is that how he talks?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
We'll make sure to tag him in that clip.
Yeah. So he heard it and it was Lord Knows.
Okay.
And, yeah, man, and we did that. He loved the song. He loved the direction, production-wise and vocally. I went to his house. He invited me over. I re-recorded like a bridge part for him there. We kind of did it together. And, yeah, we kind of like clicked. You know what I mean? And then I came back.
That was in LA?
No.
No, okay.
He's in Connecticut.
Got you, okay.
At this point, I'd already moved home and stuff like that. So I did that, and he thought it was dope. Then we did like a one-off together in Boston at the Middle East downstairs. This was like 2 years ago. And then I came and made Superstar. I went to his house and I started playing the piano. It was me and JP on the track. And, you know, I started playing the piano part in the beginning, and I made the hook for Superstar in fucking 10, 15 minutes. Like, it
crazy.
just came out, you know what I mean? It was perfect timing, perfect beat. JP and Knox killed that beat, and, like, Webby killed the verses. And, yeah, I mean, we've just kind of been rocking ever since, man. Webb and I have been on tour together for, like, 2 years now.
Wow.
You know, that dude's done a lot for me.
Yeah.
And it's an unlikely source, you know what I mean? I would have never thought, like, of all people, Chris Webby would be the one to, like, give me this major cosign and, like, really help me out in my career, but he has.
Sometimes I feel like it's when you least expect it or the most unexpected person, it comes at the right time.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the universe works in mysterious ways, and, like, you know, luck tends to bet on those in motion. And
100%.
I feel like that's what you were kind of saying earlier, because you've never given up. And it's like, in some wavelength in the universe, Chris Webby came across you and was like, look at this dude who's always going hard.
Yeah.
And then running into, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But what was, like, one of the, if you could pick something that happened on tour, one or two things, like, what's a moment that you really will remember from being on tour with Chris Webby, whether it was, like, Pack Show or something negative that happened?
I mean, honestly, so I think the first show I played outside of America, we were in Victoria Island in British Columbia.
Wait. You played outside of America?
Yeah.
Wait. Excuse me?
So you're
a national traveling musician? International traveling musician?
Yep. In the past 2 years, I've seen all of North America.
Dude.
All of and that includes Canada. We did a whole Canada run together. It was
I didn't realize that.
22 shows in 28 days.
What
Whole Canada run together, yeah.
You must have been exhausted.
You have no idea. And that's not even including my shows that I've done.
Yeah.
So in the past 18 months, I've probably done 70 plus shows.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like unbelievable.
In 2 different countries.
You want to talk about motivation, you want to talk about consistency, you want to talk about never giving up. That's what that is right there. Because without you literally continuing to push yourself, even when you're exhausted, you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm exhausted right now. I just got back Monday.
Just got back Monday, dude's on my show.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
come on.
I told you I would. I
I
promised you.
know. It was a promise.
But,
it's genuine. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that was a moment for me, like, just like how grateful I felt in that moment, because like here I am on this beautiful island. Like BC is gorgeous.
I never been.
Oh, it's amazing. And like junkies don't go to Canada.
Yeah.
People with records don't go to Canada.
Right,
like,
right.
Canada is like coveted, man.
Yeah,
Like they don't
yeah.
just let anybody in there.
Definitely.
Especially somebody like me.
You ever been on that border patrol? Did you go
Yeah.
past border patrol?
Yes.
Yo, they are thorough.
Yes.
Yes.
Like somebody like me, like who's like been arrested, been to Middleton,
Yeah.
like been dealt with all these things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I couldn't even fathom going a day without putting a needle in me. Never mind like going and playing for a packed show in a different country where people knew who I was,
Right.
and knew the words to my songs,
Right, exactly.
in a different country, and
Mind
Victoria is all the way the fuck west,
Mm-hmm.
like westernmost in Canada. Like you have to literally take a ferry that takes you across a body of water to get to this island city place.
What? That's
Yes.
freaking insane.
And I go there and people are like, "Oh yeah, I know your music.
How
I know
did
who
they
you
know your
are."
music? How
I
did they-
don't know. But I think that was the
Wow.
moment where I was like, "Whoa, like this is wild." But I mean, it happens every single time I go on tour and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like I'll be in the middle of nowhere and like I'll hear the crowd singing
Well,
my music.
Dude, I seen in Cleveland, Ohio, you put up a video on your YouTube.
Nuts. Yeah.
And like everybody was singing the song. You just had the mic out and
Yeah.
everyone knew the lyrics. And I
Nuts.
was like,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Nuts,
mister.
nuts. Nah.
Famous.
It's nuts. It's really it's insane, and it's like just super like grateful. You know what I mean? And it's very motivational because I'm like, all right, let's do it again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
cool, man. It's really cool.
And like on when you were on tour and like now that you're back, do you plan to stay around? Do you plan to do shows here?
Yeah.
You planning a tour again?
Yeah, I mean,
What do you got going?
I have another show in Connecticut, the 24th.
Okay.
So that's in like 2 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Boston, December 1st.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna
Awesome.
headline. I figure like it's been the busiest year of my life. Like I want to end it in Boston. Like headline, like end it on a good note. And then like I'm already booking up for my March and May. You know,
Wow.
just next. Like what's next? What's next? What's next? How can we keep this like momentum going? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And in between that, I'm in the studio and like shooting videos, shooting photo shoots, stuff like this, which
Dude,
I
it's
really enjoy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's constant.
Constant.
And you like it that way though.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody thinks I'm a psycho. I've never been on vacation.
Well, except to British Columbia, but you were working. That's a working vacation.
That's working. Yeah.
You know what? I saw this quote the other day. It's like, you feel so bad when you see all your friends away on vacation, but you feel worse if you went away with them, you come back and you're in debt and you didn't even do anything productive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
And
can't.
like,
I can't.
that's been me. Like for a year,
I
over
can't
a
just
year,
sit.
I stopped traveling because
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm not doing this show, if I'm not doing something that fulfills my journey, my purpose here, what am I living here for?
And a lot of places I won't go to unless
Yeah.
music brings me there.
Right.
Like I'll
right.
tell myself like I'm not going to X, Y, and Z place unless music brings me there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel that.
That's why I never went to Boston Calling.
You never did.
Never.
No.
Nope.
Not once.
Never wanted to go because I was like, I'm not going unless I get booked.
Well, that's really funny because, you know,
I know it was an alley-oop.
I think I know you threw. I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna catch it slowly. That was a slow one. But Justin has a very big announcement coming up for 2024. Something I am so grateful that he's willing to announce on the show today.
Yeah.
Let him have it. Tell him where you gonna be at.
Playing Boston Calling.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm so excited. Are you so excited?
Definitely. Definitely.
I feel like I'm
stoked.
more excited than you.
No. You should have seen when I first got the email.
So so how does this work? You applied,
No.
they reached out,
Yeah.
and like,
And they just like, hey, how do you like? Here's the offer letter. Like, do you want to come and play at Boston Calling?
do you feel
It
like,
was sick.
oh my gosh, I'm official in Boston
I
now?
emailed the dude like a year ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
yo, just to let you know, I fucking exist.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know what
Here
I
I
mean?
am,
Like,
sir.
Hey.
Yeah. Right.
But like, yeah, no. So that's really sick.
That's
and
amazing.
I found out, I got the email the day I left for the last tour that I was just on.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, sick,
Synchronized.
hell yeah. But then like I couldn't even, like I had to literally get in the van and drive to Grand Rapids, Michigan, like as soon as I found out.
Oh my gosh. So it's like you couldn't even process it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you working on like a set now already? Are you like, no, you're going to wait on that? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on like, the new music, what I release. And
Is there new music?
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in the studio all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we can expect constant rollouts
Definitely.
into the new year.
Absolutely.
Very excited about that.
100%.
And I do want to talk about. I seen it on your finger. I seen it in a music video. I'm very into numbers myself. I know that like I said, we're deep. We're both poets. Like we've had a lot of spiritual encounters. I feel like when we were younger, growing up. I'm very into 222. And I
Okay.
saw that you have a jersey with 333.
Yeah.
And also you have a 333 tattoo on your finger.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of those numbers to you, and like how does that play into your everyday life?
I mean,
If it does.
It's
Maybe it
like-
has nothing, no meaning.
it's like a divine thing for me. Like
Woof.
everywhere I go, when I see it, like I'm always doing something where I know everything's in its right place.
Oh my gosh.
But also, like I was born at 3:33 a.m.
No, you were not.
on a full moon in Salem.
That is so freaking special. Wait. You are like a blessed wizard of Salem.
Something like that.
Something
yeah,
like
something.
that.
But no, 3:33 a.m. on a
Wow.
full moon in Salem, Scorpio.
That's so special.
Yeah.
So that's just a number that kind of solidifies as you go through, like it's an acknowledgement for you.
Reaffirming.
Reaffirming.
Yeah, like anytime where I've been exactly where I'm supposed to be, I'll see the number.
Wow.
I could be mental illness though.
No.
Who knows?
No, but I wanted to talk about it because that's how I correlate with 222, and I've actually thought about getting it tattooed. I have a 222 necklace. I just see it literally everywhere, like all the time.
Right.
Like it's whether I look at the clock, whether I see it on license plates, and I feel like it is that reassuring sense of self where it's like there's a physical world that we live in, but there is a whole other basis going around us that's like we can't see, but if we can tap into it through different messages or certain things, it's like that's how you kind of know you're on the right track. That's how
Right.
you know you're on the right path and how to kind of keep going.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just thought it's special. I don't see many people with numbers like that, so I
Really?
was just curious.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Word. And, I am wondering for, after Boston Calling, everything you have going on, do you plan to ever do your own personal tour, do you feel like?
I already have.
Do you want to do another, like, upcoming one?
Oh,
Or?
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, last summer I did my own national headliner. I sold out the Viper Room in Los Angeles. Like,
What?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been like off the face of the
Yeah.
planet trying to get my
Uh-huh.
show back together.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Word.
So like right now I'm just working. I'm trying to keep building that way I can go out there and do it bigger and better.
Okay.
But like, yeah, no, I mean, aside from the Webby stuff, I've been doing my own one-offs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there is another big name that like from us just like always listening to music together, and like Atmosphere was a big influence.
Oh, yeah.
I think when we were younger. And it was so crazy to me to see that you got on a song and had Slug featured on your song. What was like that? Was that like a childhood dream come true
For sure.
you? Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that I'm like we've never talked about.
Yeah,
it
I
in
nerded
person.
out. I geeked the
That
fuck
would be
out.
like if Blue and Exile were like freaking. Well, I think you were in contact with Blue and Exile at one point.
I don't know.
Or I don't know.
I have no
There was a
idea.
lot going on, but
But that was like a peak moment for me.
yeah.
Well, because I'd known Slug for a while.
Right,
Like me
right.
and him have talked since I was like 19.
That's so crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I snuck into his show backstage. Like, I pretended that I worked at a radio station.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
And then you got kicked. Did you get kicked out?
No.
What?
No, because Dart Adams was with me.
Oh, okay.
And Dart was like, nah, he's cool.
Gotcha.
And we talked about Prince for like 2.5 hours backstage. But he gave me like some of the best advice of my life. Like, that man is like, straight up, he is a special dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, every time I ever have like a conversation with him, he always is like dropping gems. And like, one of the most important things I've learned since being in the music industry came from him. And it was like, you got to be really good at failing. You got to be better at failing than succeeding.
So true.
And like, he's like, you can't be scared to fail. Like, you got to just fuck up and fuck up over and over and over and over again. And that's something that like changed my whole entire life. But no, dude, doing that song was insane. So originally it was just a super rough demo that I recorded with my friend Leo, who's an incredibly talented producer as well. So usually I just work with like Leo, Knox, and recently Kyle from Phoenix Down. I've been rocking with him. But long story short, I made this little demo, and it was just me on piano with like a little bit of guitar, and there was like an open verse type thing. And I emailed it to him, and I was like, yo, shot in the dark, but like, what do you feel? Like, do you fuck with this? Like, let me hear a verse on it.
I'm so surprised he like responded.
Yeah, and like he sent it back with a verse on it.
Dude.
And he was like, and like he would compliment my writing. And he's like one of my favorite writers in the world. And he'd be like, you are a fantastic writer. And like, I remember reading this email from him talking about how he thinks I'm a great like writer and the writing is amazing. And I'm just like, holy shit, that's wild.
Wow, that is wild.
And yeah, he just sent it back like so casually, like nonchalant, just like, here you go. Like, what do you think of this?
I feel like with something that's like that, it's like it's so simple that it was already, like I said, it's written. Like it was already just meant.
And again, super organic. You know what I mean? Like super organic, and he rocked with it. And
but I also think one thing to say about you is like, since I've known you, Justin, and still till today, it's like you've overcome, I think, a huge thing he said about failure. I'm sorry.
That's that.
I'm sorry. Do you want to
the way the liquid goes through this
honk over there?
Nuts, dude. All right, continue.
Good thing it's not champagne. It'd be like spitting everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But I think a big thing about you is like you have never been afraid to reach out to people, to ask for things, to be like, I'm gonna hit up a church, I'm gonna hit up the mayor, I'm gonna hit up the police, I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm awful.
You're the worst, but the best. Like in a way, it's like you're so like not resilient, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Like over and over and over and over.
Persistent.
Like, persistent.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I feel like.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I was trying to get to. Like
they can't kill me.
Exactly.
They'll never kill me.
Like
they tried. They will never kill me.
If you're an artist, right, and you ask a million times for something, like, when do you feel like is the time to give up? Like, when do you feel like enough failure is enough?
Well, I can hear the word no. I'll just figure out a way to get a yes from somebody else.
100%. And I think that's what it's about. It's like a mindset. And when you can learn to start changing and transitioning your mindset, because as we both know, we started off in a dark place, and even though we still have dark days, the mindset becomes stronger to the point where you can still fail, and then you can still get over it. And, you know, I ask all the guests that come on my show this question, so I'm going to do you in suit. But what do you feel like from everything that you've been through as an artist, as a human, a soul, a person, et cetera, your ups and downs? What does it mean to you to be an old soul in the young world, or just a soul at all?
I mean, it means I gotta feed and water myself, which sucks usually, first of all. But man,
I took that spiritually. Feed and water yourself spiritually.
No, like literally, like I'm hungry and thirsty all the time. It's very tedious being inside of this flesh prison, but.
Ooh, flesh prison. I've never heard a body be called a flesh prison, but I resonate with that so deeply. Prison. I'm like, I keep my soul trapped in this flesh prison. No,
what does it mean? What does it mean to be an old soul in a young world?
Or like just to have a soul,
linear.
I guess. He's like, I'm done.
No, I'm really trying to shape something that's poignant here.
Ding, 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 ding.
No, well, because it's one of those things, like, a soul is like all being, all knowing, all feeling. You know what I mean? The body is literally, like I said, it's just a vessel at the end of the day. So being a soul in the world is everything, feeling, hearing, and experiencing everything everywhere all the time, no matter what. You know what I mean?
I do.
And like it's what's most exposed at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Am I making any fucking sense?
I think that made the most sense, honestly.
All right.
That transcended even the definition that I have in my head, because what you're saying, it's very abstract, but it's honest. And anybody listening in, like, what Justin's trying to say is we have a physical soul, we have a body, we have a temple, but inside of that, there's something that's indescribable. There's something that will go past these lifetimes to then carry the purpose that you're supposed to fulfill.
And that something is the Dougie.
Oh, is it the Dougie?
Dougie will never die.
Are you going to drop a Dougie for us?
Not right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You can't just bring that up.
I didn't wear my Dougie shoes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Just love the journey for me.
We'll love the journey. And Justin, I just want to give you the chance. Do you have anything else you want to say to your fans, the audience, anybody about anything you got going on coming up, or just in general?
Live, laugh, love.
Peace. No, but for real. Live, laugh, love. Love yourself. Wait. Cut. Justin! Someone from the studio come in and take this man out. We can't do this anymore. No, but 100%. Aside from how cliche that was, if you don't love yourself, if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't love your purpose, if you don't love your life, maybe you need to reassess, see what you're doing and what you can be doing more of that aligns with your purpose. Justin didn't start yesterday and get here. I've seen him go through struggles, years. I just want to pay homage, like losing your father and everything else that you've gone through to still be the soul that you are, to still come out on the side, to still be motivational, but to still at the same time say, I still fail.
Yeah.
I still struggle.
I'm super fucked up.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
I'm fucked up. I'm imperfect. And for Justin to even be here today doing this, coming off tour, coming here, appreciate you again. It shines and it shows exactly what he has built himself to be. He is functioning in becoming a form of his own that then creates the future of progress and generational change. So, anybody who's listening in, I just have to tell you, please go check out Justin Clancy. Check out his shows, his website, his YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Everything these days. X, I don't know, all the platforms.
Don't check out my ex, please.
You're everywhere, right?
Oh, Twitter.
No, not that X. So, anyways, guys, make sure you check out Justin Clancy on all platforms. He's really killing it. Gonna be at Boston Calling 2024. So if you guys are over here, make sure you check him out. And we will be back again next week with another motivational guest, somebody who's struggling to success, to be a better person, to make generational change. And until then, guys, make sure you tune in with me next week with your host, Jesse Ellie, on Old Soul in a Young World.